There's a lot of confusion out there about the differences between punishment and consequence, especially in the areas of parenting and education. This came up a lot in the comments section of a recent video I recorded about punishment versus consequences in the classroom. And one of the easiest first questions to ask to distinguish the two is whether or not our response to the child is about control and compliance. See, punishments are always uncomfortable, intentional actions that we do to another to try and force them to comply and do a different behavior the next time. Consequences, in contrast, are about cause and effect. And where it can get especially confusing are when we get to what are called logical consequences versus natural ones. See, natural consequences are sort of out of control, natural things that happen. So you break a toy, you no longer have the toy to play with. Natural consequence. The logical consequence is one that is imposed by the outside, but is still related to the action that happened. So for example, you break a toy, especially one that maybe doesn't belong to you, you are now responsible to replace it. And it's those logical consequences and punishments that seem to get confused with each other the most often, and I think for good reason. And so we want to come back to 3 principles actually proposed first by Rudolf Dreikurs back in 1968 about how logical consequences should work. Logical consequences are supposed to be reasonable, respectful, and related. Punishments, on the other hand, are about control and conformity. So if we go to the example of giving a student a 0 on their assignment for turning it in late, we want to ask whether or not it adheres to all 3 of those criteria. And often where the hang-up gets in on that conversation is whether or not it's actually related. People will bring up counterexamples of things that happen in life where timing is a core aspect of the job. Let's say you're designing wedding rings for someone's wedding and you missed the deadline of when the actual wedding is. Timing was an inherent part of the assignment. And so the consequences might fit that you might have the rings canceled, someone might refund that purchase. But a lot of homework assignments don't have timing as an actual core aspect of the assignment. The timing is actually unrelated to the assignment and more related to the limitations of the education system, the teacher's time, things like that. There's counterexamples to that. I've had, for example, assignments that build on each other through a semester that involve interaction between students, and if one student misses that interaction, they can't make it up, and they will get a 0 because timing was core to the assignment. But then it's not a punishment, it is a related, respectful, and reasonable consequence. Hope that helps y'all. What do you think? Let me know.